morning, everybody. Welcome to TeamODZ Live. The Gerrie and Andy show with Hills and Rick as well. Good morning, Gerrie.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to be back.
Yeah.
And have Andy back.
No, we'll see how long we can go before I need to blow my nose. Good morning, Hills.
That is the big of the morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning to you, Rick.
Good morning. Oh,
Not
so
very
far
long.
we're one in. You do have a whole box there, right?
We do have a whole box here, yes. I should have brought another box as well, just in case. Yeah, I tried to do a workout Sunday morning, and I got halfway through the section of the warm-up, and I just couldn't breathe properly, so that one got canned.
Colds are no good.
No. But working from home yesterday gave me the opportunity to look after my 3D printer while it printed some more cases. Might have missed Leonard there. We haven't been past Leonard yet. We'll get a better glimpse of Leonard in this direction. Well, I don't think you're going to forget now. See him on the right shortly. Right about here. There he is. There's Leonard. I know, right? Yeah. That's 6 days' time now. No. Next week. Well, I'd fail the questions at the start when we go into the office, and we've got to have our temperature check taken and whatever. You have a sore throat? Yes. Do you have a runny nose? Yes. And I have taken my temperature, so I don't know whether I fail that. Well, we weren't temperature checking or answering the questions until Wisconsin went into a yellow state. One of the guys in the area that I sit in brought in a 4-pound container of jelly beans, and they were a little bit out of date, so they were a bit crunchy, but they still had sugar in them. So between me and the leader of another team, we polished them. We pretty much polished them off. So I've been filling them up on occasions. All on Friday, I bought a 2-pound bag of jelly beans to put in there. Since Friday, I've just been going and getting a little handful every once in a while. I've pretty much eaten half of them already. I'm going to have to go and get another bag. Yeah. Tiana decided they're done, did she? Wait a minute, what's more special than mini eggs? So I walked past Faith's bedroom. When was it? Sunday night. And Hope's playing harmonics on her violin. Where that gave me an idea to show them some harmonics. I got my oscilloscope average waveform generator and spectrum analyzer out. Set the waveform generator on a sine wave, 10 megahertz sine wave. You see the sine wave on the scope and the nice big peak at 10 megahertz on the spectrum analyzer. So I showed them that a square wave is made up of a third of the third harmonic, a fifth of the fifth harmonic, and so on. Switch it to square wave and you can see all the harmonics on the spectrum analyzer. Diminishing amplitude. And we looked at a load of other waveforms, harmonic content. Well, bells have got lots of harmonics in them as well. Hey up, Owen, how's you doing, lad? So Hills yesterday, I asked Owen just before the result of the confidence vote was announced whether he thought that if Boris won the vote that he would have a party at number 10 to celebrate. So I've been awake since 1 o'clock this morning when Yolanda came to bed. She woke me up until she came to bed. Get back to sleep again. Oh, I turned that on. No, I did. Thank you.
Just think
There we
about
go.
all the thinking you were able to catch up on.
Thank you.
We'll be back, Owen.
Yes, you're back. I know I turned that on at the start of the stream. Seems to randomly turn itself off again.
Oh, yes, thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're being woken up through the night by magpies at the moment. So
Oh my goodness.
our cat just sits and torments them. Whenever they see her, they kind of make this machine gun noise, but it's right
Yes.
outside our house. Oh, it's so loud. Yeah, it's really annoying.
It is.
I had a
Oh,
blue
I
jay
have a-
land right outside of my window on the deck this morning. It was on my grill and just watching me. And I was watching it watch me. And I'm pretty sure he was watching me watching him, or her. But yeah, I actually stayed there for a while I was eating my breakfast.
Oh, nice. Were you on the deck as well?
Now the deck's right outside of my my kitchen door.
Oh,
Shh,
Yeah,
shh.
I
T-Rex,
can see him
T-Rex,
right through
quiet.
the door window.
Quiet, everyone, T-Rex.
Oh, that T-Rex is all bark. I've never had it try anything.
I think we're safe now.
yeah, but I have a bird call on my phone as a alarm clock. But this weekend, when we were away, they were the same bird in a tree, 4 o'clock in the morning, singing
No.
good morning to us. And Tina turns around, your alarm clock. I'm like, nope, that's the birds. I'm not setting my alarm clock to 4 a.m. So I got up and made coffee.
I usually have my phone switched to silent, but my ringtone on my phone is a 56k dial-up modem.
Oh,
Yeah, while we were down in Florida, there was a mockingbird that was hanging out in the backyard.
oh yes.
And every evening, once my dad would have a couple glasses of wine, he'd be out on the balcony, making all sorts of bird calls to think, so that it would end up making the same noises back, just annoying the whole neighborhood.
Oh, nice.
Talking about the T-Rex, Owen says he thought it was movement that they could detect. Well, Owen, you had a T-Rex by the side of you on that road. Would you risk it for a chocolate biscuit, or would you be quiet?
I'm still trying to figure out how they find this all out from a pile of bones.
Right.
All the imagination. And then everybody agrees.
I heard that there was a program where they're trying to interview turtles and alligators to find out if they have any idea.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty sure. Not really. Pretty sure they were the only ones that were supposedly around during that time, right? They say.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if we were around as well.
Maybe. Tough to tell from a pile of bones.
Yeah.
The Gerrie,
Yes.
I used to date an archaeologist. I had to break up with her though. Just kept digging up the past. Seen that one to Owen yesterday. He said, "Missing the wagon, are we?"
Mm-hmm.
I nearly said Eb then. Owen says her career was in ruins.
Oh my goodness.
When I left her,
Going downhill.
she didn't see me for dust.
So I'm almost done digging the foundation, Rick.
Nice.
But I got a call yesterday from the home inspector, and I wanted to make it 5 foot from the wall, and he said, "No way,
Wow.
it's gonna be 10 feet. You are
No,
not moving it any much closer."
I know we had that issue. We had the town inspector of Orono when we used to have food trucks outside of the brewery,
Yes.
and they would actually come out and, well, the first one we had, it was a pizza food truck. They had a bunch of setup, so they had the thing all locked into place, and then here comes Mr. Inspector with his measuring tape, and they were, I think it was like 9.5 feet from the building, so he
Yes.
wanted them to move 6 inches.
That's right.
But that was a fire
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that is a
As far as 10 feet from the fence, that's weird.
it
Hey,
is.
Santi Donto. How you doing,
But
my
it is
friend?
their rule, I guess. That's
So,
the thing with inspectors. They don't care if it makes sense. It's the rules.
Well,
Which-
and I know
I guess it's
I
their
work
job.
with the ASME code every day, so if there's a rule, it's no way to get around it. So I told him, so if I didn't contact you and I just put it close to the wall,
Yeah.
and no one complains, you wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
And he was just quiet. I'm like, okay, that answers it. But since you already know,
He's hoping everybody catches wind of this, and then he doesn't have to do anything. He can
Yeah.
just worry about the commercial sites, and that's it.
or when people complain.
Yeah.
Yeah, or when you sell the house and
Yeah.
they look at the plans.
Yes. And then they
Yeah.
look at the plans like, oh, that shed is not where it should be.
Yeah.
Actually,
It
I
moved.
have a great story where my grandfather, he was definitely not the type of guy to call any sort of city office to find out if he could build stuff. He definitely liked to piece things together and just do it on his own. And so he bought essentially it was like a cabin on the lake, and ended up building a whole house around it, and then ended up building a porch that was maybe like a covered porch that is about maybe 5 feet from the edge of the lake. And at
Oh,
the
wow.
time that wasn't allowed, but nobody noticed, but nobody said anything about it.
Yeah.
And so later on, when after he died, then my uncle ended up buying the house and ended up renovating it. And because it had already been built, then it was grandfathered in from my grandfather.
Oh, nice.
And so now it actually makes the house almost double the value
Yes.
at that point.
Wow.
Because when you look out the front window, all you see is lake.
Oh, nice.
But if it had
Of course,
been
he
your
wasn't
uncle,
as-
if it
he
had been your
wasn't as
uncle,
happy.
if it had been your uncle that built it, would it be an uncle then?
I feel like he would have been uncle then. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that was one of the good things that he had done. Other than that, though, my uncle was complaining the whole time about all of the other things that he passed off as a good job. All
Yeah.
the things that he had to fix and reroute and
Yes, I did some plumbing.
completely replace.
Did some plumbing on Sunday. That's what the third time that I've replaced a outdoor faucet now.
Oh,
Oh wow! Does this mean you have to
always
replace the cabinet floor, the cabinet bottom again?
No, no, this is one of those frost-free outdoor faucets on the back of the house. Only I've made it easier for next time rather than it being soldered to the pipe. It's now got a fitting, a half-inch fitting.
Yeah,
ah,
that's what I did.
I'm
One
gonna
thing
replace the
about
front
those,
one, then
yeah.
I'll do the same thing.
Those all the inner workings of those things. I haven't been able to figure it out yet what exactly makes them tick, but last year when I went to turn it on, there was water just spraying out of everywhere. And then this year it was perfectly fine. So I don't know. Every so often you have to replace all the inner stuff, but that's only like $5 for the whole replacement pack. Whatever it is that helps it, keeps it from freezing and exploding.
yeah.
The valves that they
All the seal
on the
sets
inside. Yes.
basically in the house. Yeah.
Or this one's like it's on top of the faucet on the outside, but I have
one
it.
of those.
I have a valve on the inside anyway, where because mine comes out of my basement, so
Yes.
I'll just turn off that valve, empty out the water, and then shut it anyway. But if I remember, that's the other thing. Which so
Oh,
far
that's what-
I remembered one year, and that's it.
That's what Thanksgiving weekend is for.
Well, but then I end up using the hose at some point after that. And then I'm usually in a rush and just leave it hooked up. I shut it off, but I leave it hooked up.
Ah,
I at least always remember to take off the head of the hose so that the hose doesn't burst.
oh, yeah.
I haven't had that happen yet.
Well, my previous house had a partially finished basement. So in the time I lived there, I finished the basement completely. Obviously without telling the town. And when I sold it, the people came in and they said, well, do you have inspection papers for everything you've done in the basement? I'm like, no. And if you're going to request me to get papers, I'll make it unfinished again because it's going to be easier. And they never mentioned anything again.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Talking about water, we had a funny story at the weekend. We had some friends over, and they just bought a new car for their daughter, just learned to drive, and it broke down. So they took it to their local garage, and they looked at it and they said, well, I'll tell you what's happened. Someone's jet washed the engine to make it look nice. Water, too much water. So, yeah, but they said you shouldn't have done that. That's a classic cheap trick of trying to sell a car, but it doesn't do the car any good. Who did you buy it from? And they went, you.
Nice.
Who did you buy it from? You should get a refund. You should get some money back. So anyway,
So that's how he was able to spot it so handily.
some friends of theirs they got a ride on lawnmower and they put it in to be repaired to a local place, and they heard nothing for weeks and weeks. Went back in and they said, just wondering if our lawnmower's done. And I said, oh, I've got a new record of that. I haven't done anything. Sorry. Can you come back in a couple of weeks? So they did. And they came back. And there was no sign of it and they couldn't find it anywhere. And the guy said, you've not sold it, have you? And they had.
Oh,
I mean, can you imagine their rating on Chef a Trade? Don't do the work and then sell your. Yeah, some dodgy places around where we live.
One of the guys I work with used to be a mechanic, and he was telling me a story about the owner of the shop. He used to once in a while they would be able to get cars for a good deal from people who didn't want to, buy a new transmission or something. And so he'd go and sell them in the front parking lot. He was telling me that this guy would just take a pressure washer to the entire inside of the car
Oh, wow.
and just leave the doors open outside until it dried out.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. He has all kinds of good stories about this guy. just an animal. Just always breaking his things and then trying to fix them. That's all he spent time doing. And then his wife did all the books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Sounds similar.
an issue with my wife's backup sensors stopped working. And I took it to the dealership because it was still under warranty. And the guy said, well, we can replace it, but since you replaced the bumper, we can't do it because it's not a real Kia bumper. Because she was in an accident a while ago, but it was only the bumper that needs to be changed. So we called the place that did the bumper replacement, and they said, no, that's a real Kia bumper. And they gave me the receipt. It was bought from the dealership that didn't want to do the replacement. So it's a real Kia bumper. So the guy said, well, it wasn't installed properly because the sensors was glued in place and they just clip it. So I went back to the panel beater and I said to the guy, now they complain about the glue. He's like, nope, here's the manual. It states, use this glue to glue the sensors in place. So I went back to the dealership. It's like, well, your instruction says glue it in place. I was like, yeah, we don't do that because it's hard to take them out. I'm like, that's not my problem.
That's the point. I want them to be hard to come out.
Yep. So the dealership gave me a new bumper and a whole new system. But the guy was not happy with me at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You made him do his job. That's horrible.
He can't really complain.
Unfortunately, yeah.
How could you do that to someone? Make them do their job.
The worst was the panel beater guy felt so bad. I'm like, why do you feel bad? You did exactly what you're supposed to do, don't? Because he was just helping me through this whole thing and he was prepared to buy a new bumper and just have them install it.
Yeah, I'm happy that we have a 2016 Mazda 6 that it's right before they started just throwing tons of sensors on it, luckily.
Oh, yes.
Because I've definitely,
That's
like
always
Subarus,
nice.
Subarus these days are, it's something else.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
anytime you get into an accident, any of those like lane assist or vehicle sensing
Anything.
sensors,
Yep.
they're, yeah, you have to have a specialized shop, which usually is just a dealership. Windshield replacements are a whole new thing now.
Mm-hmm.
X already. I mean, with this Mazda, in the first year we had it, I was rear-ended 3 times, I think.
Oh my
And-
goodness. That's what happens
So-
when you park in a brewery parking lot.
And so I ended up getting it fixed each time, but each time, I mean, the bill for it for their insurance company was, well into, $6,000 to $10,000 each
Yeah.
time, and that's just without sensors. There was a backup camera involved, but
Oh,
that was
wow.
it. But that's the thing. Now cars just cost so much to get repaired.
Yeah.
I was hearing something about that. Those lane sensors, the lane departure sensors. With
Yes.
those, if you put them in if you have your own garage and you want to buy the system, you have to actually make sure that your concrete isn't too porous or isn't too doesn't have like damaged spots in it or anything, because I guess that can
Yep.
mess with the adjustment.
Oh my
just
goodness.
That little bit of change. To me, I would imagine it'd have to be pretty bad, but yeah, you want to make sure that you have good concrete, I guess.
Wow.
Although you would imagine that the machine would have a way to adjust for that, but like a gyroscope of some sort.
Yep.
So, how deep are you going on the foundation?
For the 4 corners where the thing is actually going to stand on,
Yeah.
I'll go about 3 feet
All right, yeah, just below the frost line.
just below the frost line. But for the rest, I'm just taking out the grass
Okay,
and leveling it out about 2 inches so I can put gravel there.
I should do that really with that playhouse. But I don't want to. Yeah, because I am noticing
just-
I have blocks on all 4 corners, and then
Yes.
and then one in the middle on each side. And but I can see where, you know, it's bowing a little bit in between now that
Oh,
it's settled
yes.
for a whole winter. Yeah, this was a playhouse that got dropped off just before the first snow last spring, or I mean last fall, late fall. And I had no idea. My wife said she told me ahead of time, but I don't remember that. So I found out the night before, and then it was dropped off the next day, and I was like, well, now what am I gonna do with it?
Exactly.
So if I were to dig it out, I would have to dig it out with it jacked up,
Yes.
or
Or
try to
move
move it over. Yeah,
away and then bring it back again.
with my back in the condition it's in right now, I don't know if I want to.
Nope.
I want,
Not a good
I
idea.
want to. Now this thing is like you could definitely easily fit a riding lawnmower in it, as well as lots of other stuff. I mean, it's,
Wow, that's big.
I can't remember what the size of it is, but it has a porch. It has all kinds of stuff. It's
Oh, nice.
quite a structure. Quite a structure, but
cool.
unfortunately, it has a door that's about this big,
Oh.
maybe a little bigger, but you can't really store too much in it.
Nope.
But eventually it will get use. It was a sentimental thing for my wife, so. And
It sounds
so,
like it looks really nice.
yeah, it is cool. I mean, I would have enjoyed it when I was a kid to have like a fort in there or something.
Oh, yeah.
And it already has all like the kitchen set up and a dining room table and an easy
Wow.
chair.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
So now I guess we're just gonna wait for grandchildren to use it. I'll just be taking care of my second house.
Until then.
Yeah. That was the day I realized I'm a pretty patient guy.
Rick, I'm sorry, you're not a pretty patient.
Oh.
Yeah, the biggest thing I was concerned about when I was lifting it to put all the blocks under it was that the windows were going to crack.
Oh, yeah.
But so far it's been good. So is the bottom of your shed, is there going to be airflow, or is it treated, or how does that work?
It is treated, but it won't be in contact with the ground, so
yeah,
that helps as well.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if I block all the way, if I did end up digging enough to be able to put blocks under.
Kilometre rake and you'll have your route badge.
Woo, another one. I'm
I-
just racking them up lately. Of course, last week when I was going through getting sick and the back issues, I was just like the day I was sick, I was like, oh no, that's a route badge one. This is purely for me. I need to show up, but I was like, I can't do that. I'm too sick.
I was quite annoyed the other week. I went to do the half PRL in London, and I don't know what I did, whether I accidentally knocked my companion out and hit an arrow. But I suddenly realised I wasn't. It kept going on all the Surrey Hills, but not the right route.
Oh
So,
no.
It was so gutting to do like distance and that climbing.
How far had
How
you
far
ridden?
in were you?
And when I realised, I think about 50k. So
Oh, wow.
I carried on, and it was quite a nice route. It was so it did all the Surrey Hills instead of just box. But yeah, it was kind of annoying not to get a badge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I can only assume that it was me, because I don't think it would have gone wrong.
I think that's one of the ones I need to do. The one in PRL, or and half
Yeah.
PRL.
Oh, those are long ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up doing the
You need a lot
PRL
of
full over
company
2
on that
days.
one.
I ended up doing the PRL full over 2 days. But in my defence, I absolutely could have done it in 1 day. But I'd ridden the OD Century before I did the first half. On that first day, I did 150 kilometres.
Wow.
Just a day of punishment. Like,
Yeah.
huh,
Yeah.
I guess I'll try the PRL now.
Well, respect. I would not do that after the OD Century.
I have a tendency to do that after that ride. The Sunday
Yeah.
might not have too many plans. And it always seems like 100 kilometers is just enough to get me ready to go a little further.
Yeah.
Other times
problem-
it feels like more than enough.
Yeah. Yeah, it finishes at lunchtime here, so it's kind of too much of the day to keep going then. But
Yeah, that's the thing, when it finishes before, if no one's woken up in my house yet, that's when I tend to subscribe to a bad decision. And then once everybody wakes up, hold on, I gotta finish this.
yeah.
Yep, that's how I did my first Imperial Century. I was riding with Justin. I did a bunch of riding before, and then the wagon started, and I was riding, and I got to 118 kilometers. I'm like, well, this is the furthest I've ridden on Zwift, was 118. So I'll go for 120. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to do another 20 minutes and I'll be on whatever hour.
Yeah.
And I was at 1:30 or 1:35. I said, well, I'm so close to 1:40, I might as well do that. We just kept going until I hit 1:61. I'm like, okay, now I'm really done.
Nice.
That the last 10 miles is always, that's always the one where it gets real for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always okay until that. But I wonder if I set for a higher distance, if it would just be the last 10 miles of that distance.
I think 150 about is where things start to get hard.
Yeah. It's always at about 70, 75 that I'm like, oh yeah, almost there. Look at that.
Yeah.
Little do I know, I fall for it every time. Yeah, for a while there, what was it, last year, I think? I would do the later OD's entry
Yes.
when Megan was
Oh,
leading.
yeah.
And then we'd get done with that. And then Megan and I would keep riding. And it was typically at least once a month we would end up doing 100 miles.
Oh, no.
Just from going a little further and a little further. And then they'd be
Yeah.
like, well, let's just do the whole thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
Of course, last summer I was really into that too. I was doing, I think I did 3 outdoor centuries last year.
Oh, nice. Yep.
And this year I have no urge at all. I like to do shorter routes with good results.
Oh, yes.
Plus, they don't really make road bikes like that. The Honda is not really made for long distance comfort.
Say hello to Leonard again.
Yes, Leonard.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what should be added. A little squeaky duck sound. Ooh, nice. We still have 25 minutes left.
Yes.
Yeah, so yesterday I was going to do the rower, and I did start. I gave it a good attempt, and then my brother called.
Oh,
And my brother's never known for short conversations. So an hour later, I realized, wow, I better get off to work and not row anymore.
oh my goodness.
Which also lended to a really good bike ride to work. I
Yeah, I saw your ride.
Nice.
I was planning on just starting out slow, and I did. And then before I knew it, all it takes is like one maneuver to try to get through traffic. And then after that, it's just like, can't stop. See ya. But the ride home was better because I had a tailwind.
That never happens.
Yeah, usually I feel like more often than not, the wind changes direction through the day. So then I end up with either a headwind in the morning and a headwind out, or at least a crosswind.
Yes. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how
Today
bikes
it's
was invented.
Today it's supposed to be tailwind on my way to work and then headwind on the way home.
Oh.
Not too much. Just a little bit. I think it's like 5 miles per hour wind. Ooh, and for the last probably half a mile of my ride. Now it's probably a quarter mile. Felt like a half mile. A dump truck was getting ready to pull out, almost pulled out in front of me, but then he stopped.
Oh.
And it was right on a hill. So I got to the top of the hill and we were going just about the same speed up the hill. And then once we got over that hill, it was downhill and I got in behind him. Oh, that was an amazing draft. That was cool. I was going so fast. I think I was like keeping up 32 miles per hour at that point.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like not even a steep hill.
They do give an awesome draft.
Yeah, and I rode that almost all the way to work. And I just hoped that no rocks would come pinging out of it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
That can be a disaster.
Hey there, Mark. Thanks for liking the stream. Speaking of stream, we'll be putting it down shortly. Jason wants to stream a race in 15 minutes time.
Cool.
So you got your route badge, Rick?
Yep.
Good.
Oh, yeah. Thanks again.
Yep.
A lot better doing them this way, I have to say.
We've got another one
yes.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Ocean Lava
What was that
cliffside thing.
Nice one.
Blue.
Yeah.
Blue shirt counterclockwise, isn't it? Not yet.
Is it?
No.
Oh,
Uh,
did you? Oh, when
No.
I'd put Ocean Lava cliffside thing in first and then changed it.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, no, we did lecture on Monday, didn't we? Yesterday.
yes.
Yeah. So it must be Ocean Lava cliffside tomorrow then.
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
That was my first TTT. 2 laps.
Yeah. Yes, Ocean Lava cliffside tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, Owen. Yesterday was only Monday.
And I had a short week yesterday, and then this week I have a short week. I'm going to climb a mountain on Friday with my sister and brother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I have to try to finish up everything at work in 4 days, while everybody else is on a 5-day schedule. That's always fun. I have to inspire everybody to join me in making it a 4-day week.
You going back to work for a rest, Owen?
I know it means.
Earlier it was showing, or yesterday the forecast was showing thunderstorms on the mountain and pretty much just going up through that whole area.
Oh, wow.
But today now it's just showing rain in the morning and then clear
Okay.
all day, so that'll be good. It's looking at the temperatures, it's supposed to be in the high is like mid 40s.
Oh, okay.
Gonna be chilly on the top of the mountain, and then on the bottom of the mountain it's was a little warmer. I think it was like high was the low 50s.
Oh yes, Owen. I know that feeling. Got a ton of things to do before we leave for South Africa. And I have 3 vacation days I need to take before then as well, which doesn't help at all.
All
When
right.
do you go to South Africa?
30 days from now,
Oh, nice.
7th of the 7th.
Just in time for winter.
It's already cold there. But yeah, in time
That's
for
gonna be like dead winter.
mid-winter there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say thank you to everyone for joining us on the stream this morning. I'm going to take it downstairs and stuff. A 10-minute gap between us and him. So
Oh yes.
we'll be back tomorrow with another workout and TeamODZ ride. But coming up in a few minutes' time, Jason's going to have a Philippines race. So come back and watch that. And we'll see you again. Thanks to everybody.
Owen, goodbye. Right on.
Where's my name? Right on it.